As promised, here's some more on the snare drum. So I've got everything laid out here. I've got top hoop, bottom hoop, shell, lugs in a nice 1, 2, 3, 4 pattern. Both ends of the parallel action strainer, some tension rods, the parallel action wires and the mechanism, and also in the bag there's the little sort of bushes that go through the shell to allow it to do its thing. What I wanted to show as well was there's some slight differences in the tension rods. These are the ones for the snare drum. As you can see, if the thing would focus, it's just your sort of Common Garden standard tension rod. The ones that came on the drums are a bit different. They've almost got like a keyway cut out of them. And there's a, if this will focus, hopefully it will. Not sure if you can see that, it's almost like a sort of hard plastic or nylon. Sort of acts like a lug lock to stop it detensioning. That's quite cool. Anyway, got some bits and pieces here to clean it up. Got some white spirit, some alcohol for drinking, definitely not for drinking, metal polish, some brushes, screwdrivers, some pliers, the polishing mop and the drill for cleaning up the lugs, etc. The reason I've got the white spirit is that there's some gaff tape residue. I'm not sure if the metal polish will take it off. It's on some of the lugs. You can see it quite a lot on the inside of the top hoop. And also there's some on the shell, which is a bit bizarre, as I've never tried to mute or dampen a drum by putting tape on the shell. But anyway, who am I to question previous owners? What I will do is probably set the camera up and just record what I'm going to do and put that through as a time lapse. Also got some Vaseline there, or petroleum jelly, just as a little bit of lubrication, stop sniggering at the back, for assembly and tuning. Once I've got everything sort of back together, I'll do another piece to camera and show you how it all works. Cheers. One last thing before I do the sort of time lapse, just to say, look, you can see the lugs are different on this snare drum than the kit. This wasn't technically a recording custom snare, but was basically the sort of top of the line steel drum that Yamaha did at the time. Going round and taking off all the gaff tape residue with some lovely white spirit, so everything's looking a little bit cleaner mostly. But I just thought I'd show you the sort of close up of the snare mechanism. Basically the rod that I showed you earlier on attaches here and moves this carriage up and down, which in turn moves this in and out, which adjusts the tension on your snare wires, and the cog, or wee sort of knurled wheel, moves the butt plate, if you want to call it that, in and out, as you can see there. Top quality Japanese engineering. And that's how you adjust the actual tension on the wires as well. Cool wee little bit at the back there, just to show it is made in Japan. And then there's the guards which sit over. These basically mount onto the shell first, with the 4 screws at the back there, and this then mounts on to the 2 central screws and moves up and down. But once it's all back together, I'll show you that in more detail. Now that everything's been cleaned up with the white spirit, I'm going to go and give everything a hit up with the actual metal polish, and if there are any stubborn bits, give it some of the drill, which is over there. Hopefully you can see my finger pointing towards it. Give some of that a go and give it a quick tidy up. Again, I'll probably just do this as a time lapse so you're not having to listen to me all the way through. Bit of a close up on the snare mechanisms. So this is what they look like. I'll just spin this off eventually. So you can see there that this was basically the bit that moves in and out as John hits the camera, the tension rod, or the tension on the snare wires. If you look over at the snare wires, you can sort of see there are cutouts that, terrible framing here. That's maybe a bit better, a bit easier to see. So as this moves in and out, it just adjusts the tension on the wires, which are mounted sort of independently, and they can move, etc. That's quite cool. And this attaches to this bar here, which rotates up and down. This one's a little bit sticky, but this side's slightly better. You can see as that moves up and down, the bottom bar moves up and down with it as well, which connects there and moves the bar here up and down, which drops your snares off and then puts them back on. This is just a little side by side of before and after. Again, not perfect, but a lot better than it was. Right, got everything cleaned up, metal polished and all the tape residue removed, so time to reassemble. Again, I'll do it as a time lapse so you can see what's going on. Everything appears to have turned out quite well. So, yeah, hopefully it should be decent. Here's a little look at how the parallel strainer works. So, you flick down, and it shoves down, and then you lift it back up. And the two strainers are connected by this rod, which runs through the shell and basically sits on a couple of sort of nylon bearings to help it rotate. Right, that's the drum back together now. As you can see, it's looking really good. Much better than when I got it. Not a chance to tune it up. That's why the snare wires aren't on at the moment. It's just I can't play it in the flat, which is a bit of a pain. But I'll get it somewhere near, and then I'll have a little shot of it the next time in the studio. The sort of time lapses that I did were too long probably to put in this video, so I'll try and upload them separately. Anyway, I'll see you guys later, and I'll talk about the kit later on, probably in tomorrow's video. Cheers!